Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome into the space. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. In this spaciousness, right, of all that is now, all that's been created through spaces of letting go, creating space for what's next, even in the unknown, right? Can feel so much uncertainty. Coming into this present space of now, of our infinity and our grandiosity, right? These realizations of and integrations of our ancient awareness, our remembrance of what we already know, right? Reclamation, and really fully integrating our full capacity. And full infinity is much beyond multidimensionality. I know that's a talk frequently. We're much beyond multidimensionally, and I feel we'll start there because as we begin here in this space, we meet in complete totality of everyone's soul beingness. That means wholeness. Always in complete total wholeness as source, God, oneness, infinity, all of the names, same energy, right? Always been in wholeness. The heavens, we want to say that, the cosmos, always been in wholeness, in one totality, in completeness, in its spaciousness, right? Out beyond earth, beyond the Milky Way, beyond galaxies and parallel universes, and multiversally beyond there before anything was. In the spaciousness, in the vibration of all of space, is wholeness. It's complete in its all and nothingness, which means that we meet here in complete totality of wholeness, which means multidimensionality is still yet, if we perceive it the way I describe it, the way I'm perceiving people describing it, let me clarify that. Now, multidimensionality is perceiving different dimensional planes, perhaps with numbering systems. All of space and all of time, all of space, all of creation has not a number, nor is divided up into different segments of frequency bandwidth, right? The entire totality of the cosmos is the allness of space. So when I'm referencing anything, and when I'm offering anything, any sound, immersion, any discussion, any drawing, any frequency, a book, etc., it's always in that totality of wholeness where there are not segmented, different categorized dimensional octaves, different categorized fragments of seeing and perceiving, right? We are all wholeness, in wholeness, as wholeness, experiencing itself through the grandiosity and the luminosity of experiential, we could say experiential expression through frequency, potentiality, right? You know, what is it vibrating at? What is it? What is the saturation, the color hue? What is What is that energy? What is that shape, tone, sound? And in that, even yet, is still part, that experiential is still the wholeness in its moment part of the experiential unfolding of one soul having an experience of all of creation in and as the vastness of the totality of source energy, creation, space. So when we look at that this way, beyond multidimensionality, which is how I perceive everything, we start here in this space. That's why we start with some breaths, right? There's a few, there's more coming. Space in this spaciousness of all that is, where we are innately is vast and vastness. And now that through these varying experiential experiences up to this juncture of timeless space that we've released, discarded, uh, come to different awareness, integrated, embodied into the totality of occupying our space, our physical space, right? Our energetic spaces, all of our energetic spaces occupied, meaning the fullness of our soul within our space. And also with that being simultaneously, of course, the beingness of being eternal and infinite. So the grandiosity of us occupying all of the space out within the vast abyss and also being all right here, right? And why are we discussing that right now, here in this space of April 9th, linearly, 2026? We're discussing that because of this juncture of the next phases through all of the spaces made. And in that, I'm discussing always now and upcoming the vastness of beyond multidimensionally, because we've already evolved out of these more limited ways of still yet compartmentalizing, not yet entirely compartmentalizing a small box, but yet you step out of a smaller box and you're still in a bigger box with other boxes that have numbers on them, right? That's not quite correct yet. So in this particular spaciousness where I'm meeting you, we're discussing now this transitionary space that we're in after releasing and discarding and creating all these spaces from these purification waves. New awareness that's really not new, that we remembered and integrated and are now embodying our wisdom, integrating with our right now. We have all this spaciousness, right? Through all this change. And we're making through those spaces made, there's all this space to come even yet for what will come next and be built, right? There's all this space for what's next to be embodied in each person's experience as they're growing, evolving, remembering, coming into new roles, finding out what does this next juncture look like for each person, right? Individually, collectively, you could say galactically, beyond, beyond, beyond. How is this unity and unified field of spaciousness coming to weave together through all of the spaces that have been made? And that's why it's so important we're talking about this now, is because if you've been feeling the energies through all these spaces made, the pure tone frequency is being anchored in, we want to say integrated in, is offered out. There's presence, we could say all kinds of different things through space for support in this now, creating even more space to receive. And we have more space to receive after all we've let go, right? And what does that mean is that there's space for so much infinity of potential, right? Which could be information, which is energy. Energy and information are the same. However, are we with these spaces? Are we allowing energy and information to fill the spaces made? Or, and hopefully, this or, that only that is in highest alignment for you, is that what you're filling the space with? And in addition to, is allowing that space to be there, right? To hold more light, of course, but also in addition to parallel, no but, is that that spaciousness, really to have that openness for complete totality of alignment, right? Complete totality of your presence, your full presence in every moment, right? And space for complete total integration, complete sensation, which we're having adjustments, upgrades to our sensory capacity. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, and if you haven't, I'll just summarize briefly, is that our field to field awareness, how we're sensing, perceiving, is of course widening through spaciousness. Our nervous system is perceiving differently. Our fascia is perceiving. Our organs, tissue, skin, all of our ocular, which is eyes, ears, even mouth, right? We're talking as we're breathing in information and energy, right? And this is, we could go continue on and say our pores. I mean, how many pores do we have? We're ingesting, so to speak, energy through our pores, receiving information, filtering, processing, right? All of these things that we're doing, transmitting, receiving, filtering, processing through all these spaces and through the weaving of our all of our systems through the spaces that our sensories are actually processing and integrating light differently, right? And we're receiving information and energy differently. And also, what that means is that those spaces, those spaces in between those spaces may need not be filled or right away, or in the way that perhaps the cell memory, muscle memory, or the fascia may be accustomed to from the, we could say, previous knowingness and remembrance of the body vessel, right? So we're upgrading our systems, our body, our energy exponentially, our brain especially too. And with that, we need to have those spaces for these next moments to arrive in complete total alignment, and also to be sensed in ways that do not cause overwhelm to all of our systems, and also have all of our systems in complete coherent conversation with each other, right? So it doesn't get overwhelmed with all this information. So we're filtering, we're processing, we're sensing differently in how we need to. And I say we, it's completely unique to each person how we're sensing, receiving, processing now through our upgrades and our integrations. And a lot of that actually really does in many parts, we could say, depend on our DNA configuration of our collaborations through our galactic DNA, meaning that there's different frequencies and energies that are available to us in our collaborations of what we came with. And that range of potentiality and the acceleration through these realities is actually shifting and changing depending on our unique codex, which is essentially our living libraries of information. So we're discussing this also correlated to what I brought up in the very beginning about looking at, perceiving, and integrating everything beyond multidimensionally, because many of the collaborations of our information in our libraries can now be integrated and accessed fully here now, that this frequency here can sustain, right? The energy on Earth and all the support on Earth within and about can actually sustain in the cells, in the muscular structure, within the body, within all of the upgrades to the system of what was long ago known as chakras. I say long ago because I remember, I probably talked about this before. I remember in the 90s, not to date it, but anyways, in the 90s, I was talking about chakras really aren't correct, um, or how they were being perceived, anyways. And so our bodies, right, our physical bodies are structurally changing. Our cells are structurally changing. And so what that means is for the information to be processed and utilized, filtered through, processed, multidimensionally accessed, and field to field, meaning that all of the other fields of information, morphogenetic field, memory field, fields within your body, fields within other people's energy, fields within areas, all of these, I don't need to name all these different fields of space, right, of energy so we can communicate coherently without static distortionary energy having to filter and sift through that, right? So what we also need is a sip of water through this space. Mm. Yeah, what we also need is we need that space for those next moments to arrive in alignment, which means that if we need that spaciousness, that we're not just filling it right away because that might be what we're accustomed to. If we need space, meaning you might say time, but space energetically to filter through the information, space to receive the download and next, you might say sets of information, right? Receive the next packets of information that to receive the next alignment, actually high alignment of information, we need to not be in the busy zone of the doing. Because what happens sometimes with all the doingnesses is in the role and the oscillation of the forward doingness, that might not be even relevant anymore as fast as we're accelerating, right? So space for the next moments to arrive in alignment. Frequency, bandwidth per se, meaning what are you emanating in alignment so that those energies slash information arriving are in the correct oscillation for what is actually appropriate. And next in your roles in your toolkit, meaning all of your unique abilities, right? And that could be actually. This is important because that means it could be the next moment arriving without, any distractions, without anything in the way, also without any thought forms in the way, any clutter, meaning potentially other people or misaligned energy. This also means that what next arriving could be opportunities, right? Um, Connections, friendships, people, we could say family, soul family, however you want to describe it. All of the information to whoever, wherever, however you're connected in the ways that are correct for you. And not everyone connects, of course, in those same ways, but whatever you want to say, teams, guidance systems, anyone that might be coming in per se next, you need to have that space to hear and to feel and to know and to sense and know. And for that, you need the space. So you don't want to fill it all with energy, right? So we're going to breathe that for a moment. So important, right? It's so important. Allowing the proper and ample space. And I think about that as I'm saying that. I think about that with speaking, right? We're emitting frequencies, we're emitting energy and information, which means there needs to be space in between the next series of information for that processing and filtering, right? For that comprehension, even though alongside with the energy and information is in the field. And to prevent overwhelm, so to speak, on the system, creating this spaciousness through the frequencies and dialogue, energy and information, layers of code, really everything is code, and light technology, and how it's emitted and in the certain harmonic waves is really allowing and also not filling every space with information. It's not filling every space with information, right? There can be space in between those spaces to feel into what's the next space to arrive, allowing that spiral to unfold organically and allowing the pause. I don't know if you can hear that. But what happens when you allow the pause in between spaces or between thoughts or between sensing, between filtering, between, doing? What is that space in between the doing and the done where nothing needs to be done or doing? It's pause. Could be rest. Could be integration of information, but also integration of all that's ever been and being woven right here, right now, everywhere you are and everywhere everyone else is, right? Because as these accelerations are taking place, massively, it's collectively, right? Every human on Earth, and in addition, every energy, blade of grass, tree, songbird, every collective songbird family, right? And javelinas and cats and everyone. So, where we're allowing these spaciousnesses to make up other words, where we're allowing that is where we can sense more deeply also and give ourselves that space, right? Give ourselves that space to really sense, refine, and fine tune our intuition and our knowingness, to really feel what we're sensing and really know in the knowingness what and if and how that's accurate. Because we're giving that space, we're giving that in us, and all of our cells, all of our nervous system, our heart, our torque field, our fascia, which is interwoven deeply with the unity field of all. We're giving it space for sensation, right? Multi-sensory sensation. Well beyond the physical, well beyond the energetic. It's everywhere you are. What are we sensing and processing, filtering, comprehending, known or unknown? Space. I need space. Water. Give yourself the space. What do you need? Allowing the pause. Not needing to fill it. Maybe you need to clear it. Clearing the throat. Making space. Breathing the breath. Feeling the geometry. Feeling the geometry of the breath through the whole pillar. Spaciousness, right? We have some events coming up about the resonant chamber. Our whole body is spacious and resonant, tuning. We could say a device beyond that. It's a vessel, which means that we can tune every facet, every cell, tuned and toned with the correct harmonic for each and every one, right? Coherent, pure state is spaciousness, incoherence, allowing for innately known refinement, right? Through your emanation, your vibration, you're allowing and you're actually communicating field to field with everything, all of your systems, fascia, brain, organs, tissue, skin, nervous, autonomic, all of it, meridians, plasma, blood, everything, 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 ocular, ear, all the brain lobes, neurons, right? Everything. I know I didn't name everything, but all of you refining through the sensing as all of these systems in complete coherence are able to refine, fine tune, and sense, as are you perhaps refining, fine tuning boundaries, your spaces, your inner landscape spaces, right? The inner landscape of your spaces within your heart space, inner landscape. How spacious is the inner heartscape for, or beyond even, gestation? What's that? Gestation is, I mean, you could say technically, gestation could be rest, cocoon, integration time, receiving information. Gestation, we look at like a seed, right? Seed is in getting ready for, I want to say, sprout. It's gestating, it's marinating, it's receiving information. However, it's doing so in its own bubble per se, right? So how are we gestating? When are we gestating? How are we resting? And how are, I need another space there. And how are we refining those spaces to allow deeper rest, rejuvenation, reconfiguration, refinement space? In between, the in-breath and the out-breath space, in between all the spaces we made space. How are we configuring our inner landscape spaces to create those spaces for what we have gestated? Say we've been gestated for however long, and now we know, right? Say, for example, of course, now we know what the next step is, right? We've given all the space, we have the space that we've given, we've got all the space made, we're integrated, we're taking up our space, we feel illuminated in our spaces of our cellular spaces, in our body, and our mind, and our integration of our awareness and our ancient wisdom, right? All the things after gestation. And it's time to fill a bigger space, share information on a bigger stage, bigger space, emanate a wider range of frequency space, right? A wider sine wave of space. And we need to know that, hear that, and know and sense that all the way into deep within our spaces, that through all these refinements and fine tunings and continuous, really, we'll continue that as we transform and transition, that we're always adjusting, right? We're adjusting roles, we're upgrading roles, if you want to say it that. We're changing roles, we're learning about new potentials. Every moment that we shift our awareness is a different, people say timeline. Every moment is that. Every moment is that portal of spacious potentiality when we are looking at the vastness of space and infinity. So, how much space are you filling? And so, spaciousness coming from within the heart space, right? Is all emanating from that heart space, integrating from the heart space, flowing from that spaciousness of the light filled within the space. And all of the space is made woven into their interwoven knowingness. Just made a crack in the wall. Their interwoven knowingness of how vast they are throughout all of the cosmos, right? Right? So, this is the beginning juncture, we could say, but this is the beginning infinity of what is possible of our next spacious, we could say, new reality, but we're building and breathing that infinity into our lungs every moment, right? Hmm. Yeah, let's breathe that. The spaciousness of our sheer luminosity beyond time, beyond space. There's right here and there's right now. So when I say if, but the choice feels imminent. There's no if. Is as we choose consistently to allow that pause, create that space, but also in addition to creating those spaces, is allow those spaciousnesses to be open, right? Not needing to fill every space, every moment with something, every schedule. Oh, look at my calendar says on Friday I have 3 hours. What can I pencil in there? No, I'm saying perhaps what you have scheduled may need space, might need clearing, perhaps, and or what's open needs to remain open so that the information and energy and or people and potentiality, opportunity, situations, relations, experiences, connections, all of it in total alignment through all of your really brilliant refinement that each one of you've been doing in the being, right? Allowing, receiving, letting go, configuring, reconfiguring, right? And it feels sometimes like, okay, that's on repeat. Like, are we done doing all of this letting go? Yes. Now we juncture into the spaciousness of what is next, which means that we need that. We need that correct knowingness that is unwavering, that is in complete totality of alignment with who we are. And not just who we are right now, but who we are in the grand luminosity of cosmic citizenship. Made a word. Still, that's how big it is. It's beyond that. And so, as these shifts are occurring, right? And this is important too. Also, one of the reasons why I created this video, we're still creating, right? And its spaciousness is that in the grand luminosity of what is unfolding, and as we are sensing, like right now, sensing differently, excuse me, field to field awareness, right? Field to field awareness. We're sensing differently each other collectively, galactically, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, into space and time, right? So, as things and when, because this will continue, as and when things are accelerating exponentially, and they will continue, that means that it will feel like the last few days, where it's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's because there's so much unfolding, shifting, changing. We can look at energetically, physically, earthquakes, quakes, quakes, and it's like, whoo, 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 right? However you sense it, say you sense it physically, or something, something's going on, or see something, you can feel it. You can feel it in the people around, how they're interacting, reacting if they cannot, I mean, they cannot handle the energies, right? Combusting, perhaps, all the stuff's been held, whatever it is. And we're witnessing that in these accelerations, which means that as everything is speeding up, whoo, 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 like fast, 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 how are we addressing that within? How are we refining? And suggestion, of course, depends on the person. Suggestion is when things are going really fast. That's a good moment. Perfect moment. Good isn't the word. Perfect moment to slow down. Just observe. No sudden reaction, interaction, say trigger or feeling the other energies, right? And then it becomes somehow into your storyline. Just pause in the spaciousness. I have a sip of water. Go for a walk. Very, very assisting, by the way. Not reacting, not responding, not creating any judgment or a storyline. It's always important, not trying to create any storyline, right? That's not important to know or feel into, oh, this is good, this feels like that. What could this be meaning, right? So allow the spaciousness of your own breath and your own harmonics to remain in coherence. Allow that brilliant pause, all the pauses that you've had and had over and over again these last few, especially like 7 years. It seems like the last 7 years, about 2019. Linearly, but really, of course, way before then, that these cycles have been continuing to amplify, right? And so we've been learning and evolving and also refining our adjusting modalities of how we're, perhaps integrating things, comprehending it, how we're changing and shifting, and allow those spaces to be spacious so that you really are receiving correct information. And if you don't know, if it's not clear, give even more space for it to arrive. Can you hear the wind chime? I love that so much. Allow space for outdoor integration, nature, springtime. Most people, it's springtime. Step in water, play. Allow spaciousness for play, maybe movement, dance, rhythm, percussion, exploring your body through toning, singing. Through breathing, right? Breathing always helps in keeping those spaces wide. So we're going to just have a brief, actually we could say exercise, not really, moment of spaciousness right now, right? We're going to have a, my screen's doing funny stuff. We're going to have a moment of spaciousness firing Zoom. So weird. It updated today. No, I don't know if you can. Probably you'll see it on the video. It says there's a wallpaper. I don't know why. Yeah, we have a wallpaper today. So, anyways, we're going to have a moment or two, or perhaps 5 or 7, um, of spaciousness. It's a practice, if you will. There's going to be, I'm sure you're already aware, you're already seeing it, lots of changes this year, year, physical, energetic, physical, earth changes. Lots, lots, lots. Don't get wrapped up into it. See it as what needs to be moved, to change, to shift, to rebuild, to recalibrate. And of course, structurally will be parallelly similar, lots of changes, right? Structural implementation, collapse, restructure, all for the greater good. So we need to continue to practice the spaciousness, the honoring, trusting, the knowing that everything is in divine right order, all of it. Nothing with any distorted an intention, no, not any. No distorted intention of any kind can hold shape. It won't be built. It won't stay. It's all crumbling away. So when and as we allow the spaciousness for what's next to arrive without grasp, without needing all the answers, it's all falling into place. So we're going to have a moment. I wish I could shut this thing in the screen. Let's move it over. And now, since it updated, let me check the audio. Okay. We're just gonna have a moment with some sound, some tone, some spaciousness. It's a reminder. All of you already know what you need, just allow the space. Oh, yeah, it's changing now, the audio. Well, let's hope. I'm sure it is. Perfect. Allow spaciousness through the breath. The space of the homecoming arriving within each and every soul, within each and every cell, arriving home in its pure state. We allow this moment of spaciousness to be as it is, to breathe as it is. We allow spaciousness of our eternal living light to illuminate every cell, to illuminate all the liquid plasma within our body, to illuminate every neuron, every pathway, every brain lobe. We allow this living, liquid, luminous light to emanate the totality of our crown, our forehead, the front of our head, our pineal, our eyebrows. Pay attention to the space above the eyebrows, sensory, extrasensory capacity within the different facets, filaments of the face, and all of the structural elements, all of your geometric templates to take shape, and they're expanded. Spaciousness. Allow spaciousness of breathing, energy and information that's naturally filtered in the correct resonance for you. Trusting and knowing that everything arriving and going is exactly the correct frequency. Exactly the correct harmony, rhythm for your journey. Sensing the light, the breath through the nose, feeling the information through the ear, through the mouth, coming through and into the back of the head, into where the spine meets your head and where your throat meets front to back, side to side, within out. A sense, no. All is brilliant, spacious, glow. Feeling your innate harmony and rhythm, adjusting and calibrating, harmonizing, sensing, adjusting, sensing, adjusting, sensing. Giving space for what you already know deep within. Your divine innate perfection. Giving yourself all the space for the arrival of all of the luminous spaces within to be filled with light. Giving that space, that breath, for pause, possibly redirect, space for quiet, peace, and space for space's sake. Ko tong ka mi tong a si tai. Ko to hi a mi ko shun ku ma ki a ni to shikai ta. Dosukumi a mi kongi a ina iangi a ina i. Ina hingi a inga iangi a inga iangi a i. Aina iami a i. Allowing space for all that's ever been given out, offered out. Allowing the ripple through space and all of time. Allowing the ripple and the undulation, the echo, cessation, to return into reciprocation with the spaciousness of receiving the fullest capacity of all you've ever given out so freely. through time and through space, through all the waves, layers, times, timelines, allowing that spaciousness to receive yourself, to receive the reflection, undulation, reciprocation, jubilation. So much, right? So much yet to be that. I feel like we could go on and on and on. Where the space is made. So much space. My chair. So much space made. So much beautiful space made. Let's breathe that for a moment. And in that spaciousness, non-doing, still vibration. And vibrating, there's still emanation taking place. Trusting and knowing is always what you need. Thank you so much for tuning in, for expanding through all of space, through all time, no time. And as we juncture through these open, wide spaces, spaces made, can utilize these spaces to integrate and to build through light, sound. Technology is precisely woven to create new realities. So allow and also create all the space that you need. Refine and revise for all the space that you need. For all of the vastness of infinity you are. Because what's implementing now is huge. And what's next is coming into being through all the spaces we've so delicately and precisely made, allowed. And so I thank you so much for tuning in, creating that space, and feeling the resonance to share space and expand through all of space, through all of what's next to come. through the cosmic, divinely orchestrated new spaces. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you another time